Welcome to Spirit and Truth Yoga, the place where you can bring God onto your mat. And we have so much to be grateful for. And today we're going to be focusing on gratitude. Gratitude is so energizing to our soul. It gives us just such a peace of mind and positivity that we need to get through whatever life has for us, and just helps us to be more joyful people. So we're going to find our gratitude on our mat today. So let's get going. So today we're going to start in diamond pose, and I love this because it really opens things up. Just come into a seated position on your heels. If this isn't available to you for whatever reason, that's fine if it causes too much ankle pain or knee pain. But come on into diamond pose, really stretching up tall. And before we get started, even closing your eyes, you might want to close your eyes, open your hands. And as I said, we're working on gratitude today. James 1:17 says, every good gift, every perfect gift is from above. And really the open-handed posture here just welcomes in that light, that gratitude, welcoming in those good gifts from God. Maybe you want to roll your shoulders back, create a little bit of movement, and then maybe even resting your hands open on the tops of your thighs or on your knees if you're seated in easy pose, and just coming into stillness here, breathing deeply, really connecting with that breath. Maybe even listening to the sound of your own breath. Seeing with every inhale and exhale, you can release and find stillness, allowing yourself to come fully present on your mat in this moment. Breathing up through the crown of the head. Feeling your elongation in your spine in this really beautiful pose. With your eyes closed, bring your hands to heart center, allowing your thumbs just to press on your sternum. Feeling that connection with your heart as you welcome in warm feelings of gratitude, maybe even fixing your mind on something that you're grateful for. With your eyes closed, move your prayer hands up to your forehead, allowing your thumbs to connect with your forehead, the image center of your brain. In yoga, we call it the mind's eye, the part where we visualize things even with our minds closed or our eyes closed. Really visualize that thing, whatever you thought of that you're grateful for. Maybe thanking God for that item, for that gift, that blessing. Releasing hands, palms up again on your tops of your thighs or your knees. Set an intention for your practice today. Come to some sort of resolve. Every good and perfect gift is from God. Thanking Him for those gifts. Let's do 3 more rounds of slow breath. Letting go of everything from before, everything coming ahead, fully being present in this moment. Just you and God on your mat. come up to tabletop pose. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. And stretch out your right leg with your ball of the foot on the ground, straightening your leg, really pushing through that calf, feeling that really beautiful stretch in the back of the legs there. Lifting that heel, doing some ankle circles, thanking your ankles for letting you sit on them for the past couple minutes, releasing them, maybe changing direction here, and releasing your knee back to the ground, switching legs, straightening that left leg, pushing through the ball of your foot, stretching through the heel, straightening that leg, feeling that beautiful stretch in the back of the leg, lifting up that leg, doing some ankle circles. Again, thanking that left ankle for carrying the weight of your body, giving you some rest. And releasing. Let's do some wrist circles. Changing wrists. Maybe even doing some head rolls here, allowing top of the head to release all the way down, rolling it gently, ear to shoulder, back to center, ear to shoulder, and back to center here. Slowly find a seated position. We're going to come into staff pose. Straighten the legs, flex the feet, bring a lot of energy into those legs, flexing the toes and pressing the palms alongside of your hips, pressing them into the mat, really straightening that spine. You know, with gratitude, we need to create space for the light, the gratitude, the energy. So we're going to be focusing a lot on creating space in our spine today, and also welcoming in the light of gratitude, the light of life into our heart and into our mind. So in this pose, really stretching through the crown of your head, feeling all those spaces in your vertebrae of your spine, stretching out, creating space to welcome in all of that positive energy. Breathing deeply here, drawing your shoulders back, allowing your heart to open and lift, and release. Let's bring our right knee up, crossing right foot over left knee. We're going to take a little spinal twist here, a little bit different variation than we have in the past. So let's wrap our left arm around our right knee, raising up through our right arm, stretching, really lifting high, creating space. And again, the goal here is to elongate the spine, allowing our arm to take up lots of space as it slowly comes down. Wherever it rests is fine. We want to maintain the integrity of a long spine is the goal here. So twisting there, lifting your left hand, this is where it's a little bit different. Left hand to knee, opening up, allowing your heart here to really open up as your spine is elongating and twisting. Breathing deeply here. Remember to maintain the flex in that left foot, pressing your left leg down into the mat as you lift with each inhale and twist with the exhale, but focusing more on lifting up, elongating that spine than the twist here. 2 more breaths. And slowly releasing, unwinding, shaking out those legs. Maybe bringing your left leg up here, crossing left over right, wrapping. We're going to stretch up as high as we can with our left arm, slowly with control, taking up lots of space, bringing it down behind us, wherever it may land. Maybe you want to be on fingertips, maybe palms, good for you, whatever allows you to keep a nice long spine. Beginning that twist, bringing a right elbow to left knee. Twisting here, raising up through the crown of the head. Feeling that heart opening, welcoming in those gifts from God. One more breath. Slowly unwinding, bringing it back to center, maybe coming back into that staff pose one more time, maybe feeling the difference here from the first staff pose to the second. Stretching up again through the crown of the head, pressing down through your sits bones, releasing, shaking it out. Let's come up into mountain pose, standing at the top of your mat. Mountain pose is a wonderful pose of light and life and energy, really wiggling and even spreading wide your toes, coming into full connection with your feet and the mat, opening your heart, maybe even wanting to do a couple shoulder rolls here to really open up your heart. Open your hands wide. Lots of energy in the legs, not just passively standing, but actively standing here. Welcoming in those good gifts. Maybe even, again, setting your mind's eye on one of those gifts you have to be grateful for here and just welcoming it in. Recognizing that it comes from God. Drawing your mind back to that gift if it's wandered. With an inhale, sweeping arms up overhead, taking up lots of space. Maybe looking up to the sun, looking to your hands, to the heavens, the good things that lie above you. Setting your minds on those things, almost like you're grabbing a ball to capture them. And folding forward. Wrapping your pointer finger and your middle finger around your toes, coming into a yogi toe lock here for a forward bend, really allowing your hands to encourage a little bit more of a spinal opener here, pressing, lifting through your hips, allowing the weight of your feet to draw your hands down, the weight of your head falls, just for a little bit extra encouragement to open up here in the top of your back, the lower back, as well as the legs and hips, and breathing here. If you feel a lot of energy, feel free to back off, but also just sending your breath into those places where you feel a lot of energy in this. Releasing your fingers and your toes, coming just into a doll-like hang, just draping forward. With an inhale, rising up to a flat back, hands on shins here, really allowing your hips to pull away from the crown of your head. Try to draw through the crown of your head, really stretching here. And again, folding forward. With an inhale, rising all the way up. Coming to standing prayer. Inhaling with another exhale, lifting, folding forward. This time stepping back into a low lunge. Step back with your left foot, dropping that left knee, flipping those toes, coming up for a low lunge. Bringing hands to heart center, shifting that weight forward. Find your stability. Releasing the hands, flipping the toes, stepping back into Plank's pose. Inhale, with an exhale, we lower all the way down, coming into Sphinx pose, flipping the toes, really reaching up through the crown of the head. The neck is in sort of a neutral position here, lifting through the heart, feeling your heart connecting, opening here, welcoming in the light and the gratitude. Releasing back down to the mat, pressing up into our first downward dog. Walking it out, finding a little bit of movement, welcoming the energy here. Breathing deeply. Looking between the hands, stepping with your left foot forward, finding that same low lunge, flipping the toes, finding your stability before lifting hands to heart. Again, remembering every gift in your life that you have comes from God. We all have so much to be grateful for. Finding one thing to set your mind on to be grateful for, maybe something new. Maybe you're going to just keep circling back to that same thing to be grateful for. Releasing hands to the mat, flipping those toes, stepping to the top of your mat, coming straight into chair pose, drawing your legs together, feet together, tucking that tailbone. Breathing deeply here as your hands welcome in that positive energy, almost that it drips down your fingertips into your heart, into your soul, welcoming in all of those wonderful things that God gives us on a daily basis, even the things that we don't even stop to recognize. Breathing deeply here, one more breath. Releasing hands to the mat, coming to a forward fold, inhaling to a flat back, releasing to a forward fold, stepping back with the left foot, coming into another low lunge, flipping the toes, bringing hands to heart center, finding your stability. This time maybe raising the hands up, maybe even looking up, taking a slight back bend here, breathing here. Psalm 136 verse 1 says, "Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His steadfast love endures forever." You know, God's love is so constant. It just showers down on you. On your worst day, his love endures forever. Welcoming in that love. Giving thanks. Letting your body being a living sacrifice in this moment of praise. In this wonderful praise pose. With an inhale, releasing hands to the mat, stepping back into plank pose. Inhale, exhale, releasing down, finding your back bend, Sphinx, Cobra, or Up Dog. Breathing in and breathing out, exhaling into Downward Dog. Looking up to the top of your mat, stepping your left foot forward, lowering that knee down, flipping the toes, finding your stability before rising up, hands to heart center. If you raised up into this praise pose, taking that again on this side again, giving thanks to God for his steadfast love, which just endures and endures and endures for us and for all. Releasing hands to the mat, stepping to the front of your mat, finding a forward fold. With an inhale to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Raising all the way up on your inhale. Bringing hands to heart center. Again, finding one thing to be grateful for in this standing prayer pose. Setting your mind's eye on that. As your hands press in and connect to your heart. With an inhale, raising arms up. Exhale, fold. Stepping back with your left foot. Coming into a low lunge. Flipping those toes, bringing hands to heart center. This time, raising your arms up. If you would like to try to come from a low to a high lunge here, maybe interlacing your fingers, pressing pointer fingers together, thumbs together, interlocking the rest of your fingers. Otherwise, keep your hands parallel and just stay here. Breathing here. Maybe you want to transition, flipping your toes, seeing if you can go from a low lunge, pressing up into a high lunge. Breathing here, sinking in to that high lunge once you arrive. Breathing deeply. Giving thanks in your heart to God. Releasing hands to the mat, stepping back into plank pose. Breathing in, exhale, lower down into your back bend of choice. Inhale, exhale, pressing back into downward dog. On your exhale, stepping left foot forward, starting in the low lunge, raising up to heart center. Exhaling, hands overhead, hands parallel or interlaced if you want to rise up. If you choose to raise up, on your exhale, flipping those toes, pressing up from your low lunge to a high lunge. Releasing hands to the mat, stepping to the front of your mat, coming straight into a chair pose here. Drawing legs together, allowing them to collaborate with all that energy. Your biceps should be by your ears, tailbone tucked. As you open-handedly welcome all of those gifts that God showers on you. With an exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. With an inhale, rising all the way up. Welcoming in, taking up lots of space, bringing in all of the light. And our hands rest at heart center. With an inhale, raising arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, stepping back into a plank pose. Lowering down to your back bend. Meeting in downward dog. Again, setting your mind on one thing that you have to be grateful for in this downward dog. Downward dog is supposed to be a restorative pose. Maybe making some minor adjustments, learning in your practice to rest here, but also allowing your mind to rest on something to be grateful for. Because gratitude is truly energizing. It fills us, it feeds our soul. And if we can learn to be grateful, we will have more energy. Holding that thing in your mind's eye, dropping knees to the mat, coming into child's pose, and just enjoying that thought of whatever you have to be grateful for. and just relishing in it for a moment. Taking this moment of green pasture in your practice to enjoy. When you're ready, pressing up into a table pose, we're going to take a couple rounds of cat-cow before coming into locust pose, spreading those fingers wide underneath shoulders and knees below hips. Inhaling up into cat pose, really rounding that spine. And exhaling into cow pose. Following your own breath for 4 or 5 rounds of this. With each inhale, breathing all the light of life in, all the energy of gratitude. With an exhale, maybe releasing anything negative or just stale air, stale energy, bringing in new energy. Find your way to your belly. We're going to come into locust pose. So we're going to lower all the way down to the mat, chin on the mat. Colossians 2 says, set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. So again, finding something new or something that you continue to fix your mind on, holding that into your mind's eye, and really fixating on that, on something above, whether it be heaven or a gift from God, rather than, as your face is going to be very close to your mat, rather than what lies right before you, something earthly. Lowering hands alongside of you with your palms touching your thighs, facing each other. With an inhale, we're going to lift up, lifting our chin off the mat and pointing our toes, lifting our thighs off the mat so that only your abdomen will be on the mat. So on your next inhale, exhale, lifting up and holding in your mind's eye, not what literally lies before you, but whatever you've set your mind on that is above. Holding on to that gratitude, that energy, feeling that really awesome internal massage you're giving your organs, waking them up, giving them some energy. Drawing your shoulders away from each other, pointing through the toes. Big inhale. Remember to breathe here. Feeling those back. 2 more breaths. And release one cheek to the mat, allowing ankles to fall away from each other, relaxing the hands. Make your way back to your chin. We're going to do it again. Come to the tops of your feet. Palms face one another as you prepare to lift. And on an inhale, lifting up. Drawing shoulders back as you rest only on your abdomen. Setting your mind on things above, not unearthly things, can help us to be so much more grateful. Having a bigger perspective, and even teaching us to be grateful for when things are really hard or uncomfortable. Maybe this pose is very uncomfortable for you. Teaching you to set your mind on things above, not what you're literally feeling. One more breath, push 1 inch further, 1 burst of energy stronger, and release. Finding your opposite cheek, ankles fall away. And when you're ready, coming again to your chin, one last locust pose. Coming to the tops of your feet, hands facing one another. And with an inhale, we lift. One thing that this pose really does for you is it does get things moving in your abdomen, giving those internal organs a massage, helping to get rid of anything that maybe you don't want, which can also help you to be grateful, an internal cleanse. So allowing your body to generate lots of energy there. This is your last one. Maybe you can push just an inch further, lift an inch higher with your chest or your legs. And release. Finding a cheek, finding rest. And just breathing, just being content and grateful to be here. Giving yourself a little massage on your mat, a little moment of rest on your mat. Being grateful for those times of rest that God gives us. When you're ready, pressing your way back up into downward dog. Breathing deeply here, maybe dropping your heart to the mat, just a hair closer, lifting those hips, dropping those heels. Slowly, with control, I want you to tiptoe, just baby steps, keeping your head down, coming to the top of your mat here, and rolling one vertebrae at a time up to the top of your mat, allowing your head to be the last thing that draws up, finding your way back into mountain pose. Noticing the difference between this mountain pose, maybe it's a calmer, more peaceful mountain pose for you, more accepting. Again, as your hands open to the front of your mat, your mind's eye fixed on God, just welcoming in those good gifts, those very many things we have to be grateful for, coming to a place of stillness, coming to a place of true and pure gratitude and thankfulness. Sweeping the arms up overhead here, releasing them to the mat. Stepping back with your left foot, coming into Warrior One, opening up your right knee towards your pinky toe here. Find your stability before you raise up. Really fanning open that knee toward the pinky toe, straightening that back leg. Lifting arms with an inhale up overhead and fanning them open into Warrior Two. Breathing here, looking out over your right fingers, allowing your arms to draw away from each other, creating space in your chest, really allowing that light and life and energy to flow in, connecting with that heart point there. Dropping left hand to thigh, coming into Radiant Warrior, lifting up, fixing your gaze if it's available to you up to your fingers, setting your mind on the things above. All the very many things we have to be grateful for, maybe choosing one. And coming back into Warrior Two. And fanning your legs back down to the mat, finding your stepping back into a downward dog. Breathing here for 2 breaths, and we're going to take the same warrior series on the other side. Checking in with yourself here, and stepping up with your left foot to the top of the mat when you're ready, dropping that right heel, finding your stability, sending your hips to the front of the mat before coming up into Warrior One. Again, your hips should be square with the front of your mat here. Your knee tracking toward your pinky toe, opening up that hip. Coming to stillness, gratitude, generosity, finding that energy in your gratitude. Lifting arms up overhead as you welcome it in. And fanning open your arms and your hips to be parallel with the mat. Again, stretching in opposite directions with your arms, creating space for that light to come, life to come in. Breathing deeply here, welcoming it in to every space that you're creating in your heart, in your mind, in your spine. And when you're ready, dropping right hand behind your thigh, coming into Radiant Warrior, setting your mind on things above, welcoming in those gifts, and showing God gratitude for them. Slowly with control, coming back into Warrior Two. And windmilling the arms down, but stepping up to the front of your mat. Coming into a forward fold. Releasing, maybe grabbing opposite elbows, just letting it all go. Hanging here, maybe even moving side to side, shaking your head yes or no. Releasing hands. With an inhale, coming up to a flat back. Really elongating that spine here. Stretching through the crown of your head. With an exhale, releasing. With an inhale, rising all the way up. Creating lots of space. Feeling almost with your fingertips all of that light as you sweep through the air. Looking up to your hands like you're grabbing a ball. Maybe taking a little bit of a back bend here. Setting your mind on God, on heaven, things above. With control, coming back to center and finding standing prayer. With an inhale, come up to your toes, onto the balls of your feet. We're going to take palm tree pose. Inhaling, arms up over your head, finding this balancing pose here. Again, almost like you're grabbing a ball. Fix your eyes on something that you can see called your drishti, or a focal point, something to focus on. And both in life and yoga, when we fix our minds on something, we come to stillness. We find stability and security. And the more you'll notice your body, the more that you look at that thing, the more still you become. But also, in your mind's eye, I want you to take hold of yet another thing or something, the same thing that you have to be grateful for. Focusing your gaze, but also focusing your mind on something as we stand here in this palm tree pose for a couple breaths. Slowly with control, holding on with your mind's eye to that thing you have to be grateful for. Lower down, staying on the balls of your feet, keeping your arms up overhead. Come down, lowering your tailbone to your ankles till you can come to a place of rest as far as your body will enable you. Again, fixing your mind, your sight will now move most likely, but fixing your mind on that thing you have to be grateful for. Lowering your hands with an exhale to heart center. Taking one more moment to really grab hold of that thing you have to be grateful for. And allow your fingertips to come between your knees, finding a point on the mat. Stepping your feet at a 45-degree angle to the sides of your mat. And maybe you want to shift your weight here, find a little bit of movement, allow your blood to flow back into your legs after taking that pose. We're going to come into a Yogi Squat. So eventually when you're ready, just finding stillness, dropping your heels, and maybe you stay here, maybe your hands are on your knees, maybe your elbows can come to your knees, allowing a little bit of an assisted push there. Palms together, tucking that tailbone, really raising up through the crown of your head. Whatever is available to you, but really coming into this pose of gratitude, contentment, welcoming in, just coming to a place of thankfulness. Maybe even taking a moment to say a little prayer of thankfulness to God. We're going to come into boat pose. You can put your hands down and stabilize yourself and come to your seat, or you can kick back if you're brave enough to kick back into boat, or you can just come to a seated pose. But what we're going to do here is come into boat pose, flexing the feet, lifting them off of your mat, straightening the arms, really connecting with those core muscles here. Your knees can stay here, or if you're able to stretch them out, the more you stretch them out, the more difficult the pose will be. Breathing deeply here. Again, setting your mind on something. Drawing your shoulders back. Really remember to breathe here. Fueling the challenge of this pose with all of your breath. 2 more breaths, you can do it. And releasing down, all the way down to the mat. Maybe windshield wipering your knees here. John 8:12 says, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. We're going to come into a version of butterfly pose, bringing our feet together, lying on our backs. Maybe even you want to pull your shoulders back behind you. Putting one hand on your chest and one hand on your abdomen. Focusing on welcoming in that light. And so much of the light of life that Jesus is talking about is just from welcoming it in, and we can welcome it in through our breath in this moment. As we inhale, feeling our abdomen rise, followed by our chest rise. With an exhale, feeling our chest fall, followed by our abdomen falling. Almost like a wave. Inhaling as your abdomen rises, your chest then rises. And as we exhale, feeling your chest to fall, followed by your abdomen to fall. Really welcoming in that light. for a few rounds of breath here. Two more rounds of breath. Welcoming in all that positive energy. Letting go of all the bad. All the things we wish were different. All the heartache. And just welcoming in the lightness of gratitude, of contentment, of thankfulness. Slowly drawing your knees together, allowing your hands to fall to the mat. We're going to take bridge pose before we come in to our Shavasana. And with an inhale, we're going to raise our navel up, really energizing through our core muscles here, our glutes, feeling our back muscles. Really find a strong bridge pose here, allowing the blood flow to change, where our heart now is above our heads, preparing us for Shavasana. Breathing deeply here, drawing legs together, pressing our hands into the mat, maybe even interlacing our fingers. Taking a couple breaths here. Maybe lifting your heart an inch higher, your hips a notch higher. And slowly, with control, releasing back down to the mat. Lowering our knees to the right side of our mat, opening our arms, looking over left shoulder. With an inhale, lifting our knees back to center, switching sides, lowering knees to the left side, looking over our right shoulder. And finding your way into your Shavasana, maybe putting something warm on, but allowing this to be a moment that you come into stillness, allowing yourself to be present, allowing whatever thoughts may enter to easily leave your mind as you fix your mind on the gratitude of life, the change in your perspective through this process, through this practice. And just being still for a few more moments on your mat. Wiggling toes and fingers, bringing a little bit of movement back. When you're ready, find your way to one side. Taking one last moment in your practice. Breathing deeply here. Finding a great release, letting everything go. And when you're ready, with eyes closed, pressing up into a seated position for your last moment of meditation. Connecting again with that intention that you set at the beginning of your practice. Every good gift, every perfect gift is from above. Taking a moment to recount all the gifts that you thought of in your practice. Taking a moment to take those to God in gratitude. Allowing that gratitude to energize you. Feeling the light of life that Jesus promised. Bringing hands to heart center. Thank you, God, for your enduring love, how you lavish all of our many blessings on us. You're so generous, so patient, so kind. Help us to be grateful. Help us to be thankful. Even when things are hard, we have so much to rejoice in. So much to be thankful for, and help us to find energy in that. Thank you for all of our very many gifts, and I pray that we can take them with us, take this mindset of gratitude with us off of our mats. Fluttering your eyes open, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you feel a little more energized and grateful, or if you've been in a place of gratitude, I hope that this helped to fuel that fire. This is Spirit and Truth Yoga, the place where you can bring God onto your mat and really connect with his truth. In John 4, Jesus says that true worshipers must worship in spirit and in truth. And I hope that you got to connect a little bit more with the truths of God. If you want to learn more about his truths, please reach out to me. My information is at the end of this video. But until next time, namaste.